Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, on Tuesday filed a 100 billion naira defamation suit against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The lawsuit follows last week's controversy over seating arrangements in the Senate, leading to Senator Natasha facing disciplinary review by the Senate's Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions. In the suit filed at the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Akpoti-Uduaghan alleged that Akpabio and his legislative aide, Mfong Patrick, made defamatory comments against her. I know, Rufai, you have seen this lawsuit, by Natasha, and there was a part in the lawsuit where, Natasha talked about the legislative aide to Akpabio, Mfong Patrick, making those defamatory remarks, where he wrote on Facebook, "Is local content committee of the Senate Natasha's best right?" And then he went on to state that it is a bottled anger by the lawmaker who knows nothing about legislative rules. She thinks being a lawmaker is all about pancaking her face and wearing transparent outfits to the chambers. They found that comment defamatory, provocative, disparaging, lowering in dignity and estimation of Natasha in the eyes of her colleagues and right-thinking members of the public. That was part of the lawsuit. Akpoti-Uduaghan has asked the court to compel the respondents to withdraw the defamatory comments and apologize to her using a national newspaper. Usually it's like a lot of newspapers, but you see these sort of remarks, especially against women. I'm going to play the gender card here because I don't understand what pancake has to do with anything or wearing transparent clothes. How dare you make such comments against a senator? I think that this actual defamatory lawsuit is quite on point. Well, in the meantime, the disciplinary committee was given 2 weeks to submit its finding with potential implications for Akpoti-Uduaghan's standing. Senate President Godswill Akpabio during plenary suggested that her unfamiliarity with the Senate procedures contributed to the controversy.
I think part of the problem is when people come from court declared senators, they miss the orientation. The management of the National Assembly is hereby ordered to organize periodic orientation, particularly for senators who are midstreamers, who can midstream and did not start when their colleagues started. Because I remember that this particular senator, on the day she was sworn in, raised her hand to speak. I was scared, but I had to recognize her because I was saying, you just gave her the rule book. Part of what we give to you when you are sworn in is a standing order of the Senate. So I said, has she even opened the rule book to know what she's going to say? But she made the contribution on that day. I think 2 days later, she brought a motion. There's nothing wrong in being vibrant, but there's a lot wrong when you don't know anything about the procedure. You can't be a reverend father and go and start the church service with communion. You must lay foundation.
That was quite an assumption by the Senate President that Natasha didn't know anything about the rule book before she,
due respect,
came in.
This Senate President, the way he speaks, only God knows. Berating her, he said that's the problem when people come through the court process. She has a right to fight for election and she got it. Said she didn't go through the induction because she came through the cross process, but she's been in this house for a while. She's pushed bills forward. She's gone on foreign trips with even you, the Senate President, which we see. So it's now because she was speaking based on privileges, which she wanted to be heard, and now you are now saying this against her. At first you are berating her. You are denigrating her. We must say no to what is being said to women. Then his own legislative aide now went on a tirade on social media. Mfon said all sorts. He's Mfon sexualizing Natasha. Why will he say that, transparent clothes? So is he imagining Natasha in transparent clothes? Why would that even come to a legislative aid?
It's quite uncalled for.
Then you say pancake. So that means you're objectifying the woman. So what you also mean invariably is that Natasha has no brain. This is a qualified lawyer that's only pancake she knows how to rub. And he has been trying to lie. You know, when people do things and you slam them, they will lie that their page was hacked. Because Ufo also went attacking me because I stood up. And I will stand up for Natasha. The world should hear it. The truth is, there's constantly been a tiff between both of them. And it's not only Natasha, they've treated the other female senator, Senator Rutila Kingibe, that same way. They can quote the law about position and seats and all of that, but also there's a right of privilege when you have to be heard, when you stand on an order. When Akpabio, did his, the Saraki subject him to this. Anyway, we've already had intelligence report that they were going to submit that to the disciplinary committee and all of that. We will see.
Yeah.
They should not forget, there's already a court judgment as regards suspension. So you can't suspend the people of Kogi. Like all the senators gather at the back. I also hear, anyway, they've debunked the story that's fake news. I also hear they were trying to call, what's it called, Brekete. Why did he grant, I've heard it's fake news. But see, like all your senators gang up against Natasha, we'll keep saying it here.
Right.
Because when you did your own, even yours was even worse than this.
Yeah.
Nobody was high-handed.
All right.
Learn to respect women. Enough of all of this.
Well,
even in the statement, he even still showed. So because Natasha came through a court process, which he fought for a case,
so she was not familiar with.
So does it mean she's not familiar? And she's been in the Senate for how many months now?
Well,
so we should stop all of this. We know what's going on. I stand 1000% with Natasha Akpoti.
all right. Well.